Welcome back to the Wannabe Artist Podcast. My name is Justin and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh, and I'm your other host.
Yes, you are.
All right.
At the time of recording, it's been a little while since our first session, but let's recap. How did you think that the first episode went?
I think it went pretty good. I didn't really listen to the entire episode in my own time, but I did listen to certain sections. And yeah, I think we sounded pretty all right for a
Yeah.
first episode.
Didn't even listen to the episode. Wow.
Well, I don't have time to listen to a whole 1.5 hour thing, but like I still listened to some like most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really happy with how the episode went too. I think we're just getting into the groove of things. But I really enjoyed it, and I think our banter works well. I've had some really great reception from friends, family,
Nice.
which has been nice. How's your week been?
Week's been good. I mean, it's summer, so I'm not really doing a whole lot, but it's been nice. It's been chill.
Yeah, you've been watching a certain show that's coming back right now, The Boys.
The Boys. I just started watching it.
What do you think?
I'm halfway through season 2 right now, and I like it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just a really fun show. Very good entertainment. I would say, just like a really unique take on superheroes that I guess we don't really see often now. I mean, of course, there's like Invincible, which I feel like is in the same sort of lane when it comes to superhero, telling like a more grounded story in reality. But I think that the two shows are going for very different things. And I like how The Boys is more focused on like social commentary
Yeah,
and yeah, that kind
I've
of stuff.
I've been watching since the show started, and I still really think that it fits well in this current space of superheroes.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about superheroes last episode, and this is just like a nice change of pace to see something that is satirizing it, but also it does play into a lot of the same tropes.
Yeah.
Where did you last leave off?
What has just happened? I'm in halfway through season 2, so they're
Halfway,
like,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good point of the show. Wow, that was 4 years ago. Because I
Jeez.
was watching that one that came out during the pandemic, which is a crazy thought. And now we're
Oh
on
my.
season 4. But yeah, I'm really glad that they've announced it's capping off with 5 seasons, which is a great number.
Yeah.
It's a show that could easily go on for way too long.
Yeah,
So
but they're stopping themselves while they're ahead.
yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
Last episode we talked about our favorite albums and films from the past year, and I thought that just gave listeners a very good sense of our taste, what we look for in films and music. So I thought we'd do something kind of similar, like in the same vein, and also late look forward to movies coming out and just the summer of 2024 overall. And let's get to it.
Yep.
And we're back for our very late summer 2024 movie preview.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably should have mentioned this in the intro, but I wanted to just quick little story. Not really story, but I had a dream last night, and it was very silly, very scary that we were sitting down to record this episode,
Uh-huh.
and it went terribly wrong. I forgot to record any audio, and then we just stopped the podcast.
Like forever?
Yeah, forever.
Why did you dream about that?
I don't know. It's just this thing where anytime I know I have something coming up the next day,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna dream about it. And it's either gonna be the
Yeah.
worst case scenario or just it's gonna happen.
Normal, yeah.
Normal.
That's
So it was
funny.
it was just another case of that. But the podcast is not ending.
We're here,
We're doing
recording.
this.
We're good.
All right. Let's get to the movies. So we're going to play a little catch up. We've had a few summer releases already come out. I thought we'd start with late May. Same day release. We had Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, directed by George Miller. This was a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road. I have seen it. Have you, Joshua?
I have not seen it yet, but I
You
definitely
haven't.
am looking to watch it eventually.
You're looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
All right. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was very different from what I was expecting, which was a good thing. I thought Furiosa would attempt to outdo Fury Road, and I thought that would just be a bad direction for it to go in,
Mhm.
but it definitely went down its own path. It's very I don't wanna get much into it, but I enjoyed the direction it went. Wow, that was a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot for nothing to be said. You know what? We're getting back into this.
Okay. I mean, how would you say it sort of ranks within the Mad Max franchise? Because I haven't seen any of the movies in
It's
that
definitely
series.
very high up there for me.
Uh-huh.
I'd say Road Warrior, which is the original sequel, and
Mhm.
Fury Road are definitely at the top,
Yeah.
and Furiosa probably at like a third
Okay.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really loved it, and I hope you will check it out.
I will.
Next up, we have the Garfield movie.
Hell no.
So
Okay,
you are not looking forward to seeing this one.
I'm not going to see this one. You watched it, right?
I did a double feature of Furiosa
My God.
and Garfield. I saw Furiosa first,
Mhm.
ended my night with Garfield, and I hated myself for that.
Yeah. I mean, just from the trailer alone, like, it kinda just, like I don't really expect much to be sorta given to me that I haven't already seen. Like, it just seems like it's a shitty Garfield animated movie with Chris Pratt voicing him.
Oh yeah, if you've seen the trailer, you know exactly what you're in for. There was really no point for me to see this movie. It's not for me. It is for little babies
Mhm.
and just I don't know who cares about Garfield anymore. Is that like a
True.
wrong thing to say?
I mean, I bet it has its, like, dedicated fan base, but, like, no one's, like, talking about
Well,
Garfield.
Garfield did not feel like Garfield in this movie. It was literally just Chris Pratt in another iconic character role.
And this is why we need to hire real voice actors, not just whatever celebrity we wanna just force into the movie so that I can make more money. Cause like, I'm sick of Chris Pratt just voicing the most random roles that he does not fit in.
Yeah, this was very lame. Like tries to have its own unique kind of style, Spider-Verse Puss in Boots esque, but it
Mm,
fails.
really?
Yeah, or
Like, with the animation?
in a similar manner where you can tell it's trying to have some personality, but it's just not
Oh,
working.
okay.
It's lame,
It's kinda eccentric in the way that, like, those movies are.
eccentric in a negative way. Like it's
Okay,
overstimulating and just a mesh of stupid colors and imagery.
I see.
Yeah, most of the movie is literally just montage and then flashy blah blah blah. Yeah, I do not recommend. What do you
Y
think?
I'm not gonna see it,
Okay,
so
good.
we can move on.
Moving on, we have Bad Boys: Ride or Die.
Sheesh. I
Sheesh.
don't care.
Hey,
But
I didn't care either. I saw it
uh-huh.
and it was super lame. It made me want to rush a stage, slap the presenter across the face, and apologize on YouTube later.
What was so bad about it? Because to me, it just seemed like a generic action movie. I mean, I also haven't seen any of the movies in this franchise, but I
Yeah, that's
mean,
exactly what this entire franchise is. I've never been a fan of any of the Bad Boys movies. At least with the first two, they were both directed by Michael Bay,
um,
and there was like some personality. He knows how to shoot action.
yeah,
These new ones, they're just the most condensed, watered down version of them.
yeah.
I don't see the point in making them without Michael Bay. The third one just did not hit. It was lame,
Mhm.
and same goes for this one. It was another lame Bad Boys movie. The comedy is terrible. It's not for me. The action is very just subpar.
Mm,
Everything about it is just the most generic lame
yeah, kind of
thing
a
out there.
snoozer release. I feel like just gonna like fall by the wayside because I don't hear anyone talking about it.
Oh yeah, it basically it's still playing in certain theaters, but it came and went
Yeah.
basically. And they have apparently a Bad Boys 5 is coming too cuz
Sheesh.
this fourth entry pushed the franchise entirely over $1 billion. So we're
Damn.
getting another one.
It's making that much money?
No, like I'm just saying like in total. Yeah, the
Oh,
franchise
okay.
does. I thought that too when I first read the article, but I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, okay. That makes more sense.
So you're not looking forward to this one, right?
Probably not gonna see it either.
Yep. Moving on, we
Mm,
have Inside Out 2 by Pixar.
alright. I mean, I like the first Inside Out. I think it's a pretty decent movie. It handles its themes in a good way, because I feel like it's the type of movie that could be very sappy, especially because it's a children's movie handling, like, themes of, like, depression and that kinda stuff with the emotions, but it's a I like it, like, I watched it recently in my biology class, and it's fun. So,
Okay.
with this one, I mean, I'm not like I didn't come out of watching that movie being like, "I need to see what happens next in Riley's life," but, I mean, I guess I'll see it eventually. I feel like this is, like, these type of Pixar movies are ones that you just, like, you watch eventually, like, they just come on at some point in your life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know if I told you, I have a little surprise for you. I did
What?
see this movie.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
How was it?
I'm gonna say for the sake of legality, I saw it in theaters.
Okay. Wink, wink.
I was very underwhelmed. I was
Mm,
really not looking forward to this one. Pixar overall has just not been hitting the past few years. I really
mhm.
liked Soul, but besides that, everything else, it just the passion isn't there to me anymore. The fact that we're even doing a sequel to Inside Out,
Mhm.
it's screaming like, okay, our new original concepts aren't really working out, so let's fall back on one that was successful.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about the first one?
I'm not huge on it. Like I think it's
Okay.
decent and yeah, like you mentioned, the themes that they explore
Mhm.
are more substantive than a lot of Pixar stories,
Yeah,
but
definitely. It's whatever.
how it's written, the characters, the jokes, it's just not for me. I don't like
Yeah.
this concept that much.
Mhm.
I know that's like a really hot take because people hold Inside Out in really high regard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always thought it was kinda like the outsider of, like, the classic Pixar movies.
I don't know. Even when we saw it, what, like 9 years ago now,
Mhm.
as like a younger child, I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah.
And I was the target demographic.
Mm. Yeah, so Inside Out 2, I mean, maybe I'll check it out. Because like I said earlier, I'm not, like, rushing this, like I feel like the first one was not even a movie that really warranted a sequel, so I'm not really rushing to see, like, what's going on here, but, I mean, I like the first one, like, enough to, like, maybe see what's going on with this, but yeah.
Yeah, there's no need to rush to this one. All right. Finally, moving on to releases that are coming up and not have already been released.
Mhm.
We have Kinds of Kindness by Yorgos
Hell
Lanthimos.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, this is definitely one we're gonna see in theaters together
Oh,
as
yeah.
soon as possible.
Yeah, it's coming out
Cause
very soon.
yeah, and Yorgos and Emma Stone are definitely on a generational run right now in terms of directing and acting, especially Emma Stone, like, these past, like, few roles that she's had have been, like, just, like, elevating her career to, like, a new level.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you listen to our first episode, we praised Poor Things. That
Oh,
was my
mhm,
favorite film of last year, and Joshua ranks it very highly as well.
yeah. But even last year, there was The Curse, which was Nathan Fielder's,
Oh, yeah.
latest TV show that was really, really good as well and showcased, like, even more range with her acting chops.
Yeah, and it
But yeah.
looks like she's really, from the small teasers I've seen, she's really hamming it up, having some fun in this one,
Yeah.
which I'm looking forward to seeing. This is a nearly 3-hour anthology
Mhm.
epic.
Which is interesting direction for him to take. I'm actually curious to see how he's gonna handle an anthology type story.
Yeah, me
Cause
too.
I don't know, with these kind of movies, it's always really interesting to see how, like, the different stories kinda, like, sort of relate to each other and how they're, like, tied in to, like, the greater narrative. And I
Yeah,
and
this
I
is
I believe that Yorgos is definitely one to make it work really well.
yeah, because this is, yeah, like you said, his first leap into this big anthology scale of like storytelling.
Mhm.
It's always been singular narratives that he's worked with in the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this one.
And I find it interesting how the cast is gonna be playing, like, different characters in each one. Like, it's basically just, like, reusing the same
Yeah,
cast
that is
for
really
each
cool
one, which is a really cool concept.
because we have Jesse Plemons who's also starring.
Mhm.
And while I do really love him in movies, he generally does play the same type of character over and over. And so it's going to be interesting to see in one film him doing three characters and seeing
Yeah,
if he can really diversify them,
yeah,
you know?
show off some range.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to this one a lot.
Yeah.
Probably the most out of anything here.
Oh, yeah. We'll be seeing this one.
Mhm.
Opening night?
Hopefully.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Illumination's Despicable Me 4.
Yeah. I mean,
Fuck this movie.
I did not think. Actually, no, I did expect them to keep pumping these out because they make tons of money. But like, God, like, how are people just not sick of these stupid little yellow fucks? Like,
Out of context, that could be
oh my
taken
God.
in a
Oh
really crazy
God.
direction. But we're both Asian,
Yeah,
so
we're fine. We're fine. We're not canceled.
not canceled.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
I'm not amused. I'm
Mhm.
not amused by anything Minions related. The reason we keep getting more, Joshua, is because the babies who Illumination is marketing towards rush to see this one. All the parents go to
Mhm.
take them, and we had that stupid gentle Minions trend 2 years ago where I guess middle schoolers in suits rolled up to the theaters.
Oh, for Minions
Yeah,
too.
for Minions 2: The Rise of
Jeez,
Gru.
that was 2 years ago
Yeah, 2
now.
years ago.
Holy crap.
So that's exactly why we're getting more, and we're gonna keep getting more.
God. Yeah, I mean, I'm not planning on seeing this. It's just gonna be the same as like there's gonna be no surprise here. It's not like Despicable Me 4 is gonna be like the gem in the series or something. Actually, I don't know. It could happen. Maybe Illumination pulls through with a banger, but I highly doubt it.
Based on their track record, I'm gonna say no. So yeah, I'm gonna be avoiding this one like the plague. What about you?
Same. But wouldn't that be funny if like the fifth or the sixth Minions movie was like really good? So everyone would just watch the whole series just to see the one goated Minions movie.
No, I don't care. No, that's
But what
that
if
the
it's like one
idea
of
of
the
that.
best movies of all time? Like Despicable Me 6 is like up there with like The Godfather and like The Shawshank Redemption.
No. Like it's rooted in the first few Minions and Despicable Me movies already. What would make it any different?
I don't know, bro. Minions grow up and get in some bad shit.
The bad
All right.
boys of Minions
I'm
movies.
yapping. I'm yapping.
Yeah, we're just yapping about Minions. All right, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
We have Maxine, directed by Ty West,
You
which is
mean
the
Max 16?
Triple X scene,
Mm-hmm.
which is the final entry in Ty West's X trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I've only seen X. Haven't seen
Only
Pro
seen
yet.
X.
Yeah. I was gonna watch them both, but then I don't know what happened.
You
Something
failed.
happened. Yeah, I failed. I mean, I definitely am going to see it, and I definitely want to see this one too, because, like I said, with Kinds of Kindness, I guess this is more of like a long form sort of like it's more of like a anthology sort of trilogy
Yeah.
in terms of telling a story, but like just to see how it all ends is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I was really apprehensive about the idea of this even being a trilogy. I thought that
Mhm.
was a very bold move.
Yeah,
I was not huge on X. I enjoyed it. I liked that it was paying homage to, the 70s grindhouse kind of style of slasher
yeah, it's a
movies.
fun film.
It's fun. But I was really surprised by Pearl. I thought that
Mhm.
was really great. It offered a lot of the same flavors of X, but I just thought he handled it a lot better
Mhm.
with the central character of Pearl.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how this one turns out. I like Mia Goth a lot, even though she's apparently canceled. She stomps on people.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I guess we don't. I guess we'll see how that controversy turns out.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to this one. We'll also watch Pearl in preparation. And yeah,
Nice.
next.
Next up, we have Deadpool and Wolverine, directed by Sean Levy. Levy?
Levy? It's Levy.
Levy. Okay.
Yeah. Deadpool. I mean, I haven't seen Deadpool 1 or 2. And I guess as the years go by, I kind of lose more and more interest because my hate for Ryan Reynolds just grows stronger and stronger.
Oh, you hate Ryan Reynolds?
I think he's really annoying. I mean, he kind of just does the same thing in every single movie. I don't know if it works better in the context of the Deadpool character, but like I don't know, I just I've never thought he was funny, I was just like, "Whatever" on him, but now I'm just, like, super annoyed of him, especially from Free Guy, because like,
Uh,
he just
Funny that you mentioned that because this director is also the director of
Are you
Free Guy.
serious?
Yup.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then when I was questioning you, that was sarcastic. I
Uh-huh.
totally agree. I cannot stand Ryan Reynolds. But I will say that Deadpool is the one role he
Mhm.
was born to play, and every
Yeah.
single performance outside of these movies, it's just he's doing the Deadpool
It's
thing.
Deadpool, but a regular guy or like a video game character or whatever.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so I mean, I guess I'll maybe check it out. Maybe I'll marathon the Deadpool movies at some point in my life, but I'm not dying to see this.
Mm.
But I guess the inclusion of Wolverine is interesting, but I haven't seen X-Men either, so
Yeah, you have a lot to catch up on. Yeah,
yeah.
I've soured on the 2 Deadpool movies. I think by this point in time, it's just the humor isn't for me anymore. It's very
Mhm.
middle school boy
Yeah.
reference humor, fourth wall breaks, like, it just
Yeah.
doesn't do much for me anymore.
We call that Rick and Morty
Yeah,
humor.
the Rick and Morty-ification
Mhm.
of cinema.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, this one could be fun. Hugh Jackman's back.
True.
They're going through time. They're in the MCU finally.
Let's go.
Yeah, it could be fun.
Yeah, but we'll have to see.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Because this is apparently supposed to be the movie to end the Fox universe of X-Men,
Mm,
which could be a fun meta angle, but I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see.
Is it ending because they're tying it in with the MCU? So it's just gonna be like one big thing?
Yeah, so they're doing this kind of meta thing where they're ending they're killing off the Fox universe and they're
Okay.
jumping into the current Marvel Cinematic
Oh,
Universe.
so they're like hopping through dimensions, sorta. So they're just going to like the MCU thing.
Yeah,
Just
some multiverse nonsense like that.
okay. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, well, I'll see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
gonna end up seeing it.
I might see it.
He might see it. Moving on, we have Dee by Sean Wang.
Mm.
This was the US Dramatic Audience Award and US Dramatic Special Jury Award for Best Ensemble Cast winner at
That was a
Sundance.
mouthful.
That was a mouthful. Yeah, it was the winner of these 2 awards at Sundance this past year.
Mhm.
I am very much looking forward to this one. I was sad that I missed out on this one when I was at Sundance.
Yeah, but
What do you think?
you can't see them all. I had not heard of this movie until, like, right now when I watched the trailer in preparation for the episode, but it looks really good. It looks really interesting. I like how it's sort of representing, like, the late 2000s as, like, a sorta, like, retro-esque time period.
Mhm.
Because like, I guess we're in the 2020s now, so that's, like, pretty long time ago now. But it definitely gives a lot of mid-90s vibes. Like, it has, like, the older sibling dynamic,
Oh, yeah.
and he gets into, like, skateboarding, I presume,
Mhm.
like, filming and that sort of thing. So it definitely gives off, yeah, a lot of the same sorta vibes and themes that mid-90s has, and I really like that movie, so that's just a plus for me.
Yeah, I haven't watched, like, a full trailer, but I've definitely seen clips, and I've
Mhm.
heard a lot of things around the buzz. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I really enjoyed Sean Wang's documentary short film that was nominated for an Oscar,
Mhm.
Nai Nai and Wai Pao. Yeah, that was really great. I think he has a really good eye for this contained human storytelling,
Yeah.
and I think he'll just continue that with DD.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely gonna see this one too.
I will be there. Representation. Have to show up
Asian
for
cinema.
my people.
On God.
Hell yeah. Moving on, we have Trap by Mr. M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. I mean, this one looks good. What do you think?
I think it looks hilarious.
Okay. I mean, from what I've seen of it, it has an interesting premise. And I think it's got that Shyamalan flair,
Oh, yeah.
like to just at its core, just from the premise and like the trailer and everything. I don't know. I'm interested to see what he's gonna do with this because I've only seen The Sixth Sense.
Oh.
So in my eyes, he's done no wrong. But I know he's a director that's very polarizing and he makes interesting movies. So
He's
I have
done
no
no
doubt that this
wrong.
movie isn't going to be anything special. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he knows how to sell concepts, of course.
mhm.
Um, I think this one looks very funny. It's taking place in a concert, and with this trailer, they've showed us basically the reveal
Mhm.
that is so infamous in every single one of his movies, which leads me to believe that there's something deeper going on.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be another reveal
Yeah.
with the reveal.
But also, based on his past two movies, Old and Knock at the Cabin, there
Mhm.
really wasn't much going on beyond the base concepts.
Yeah.
So this is really in the air if it's going to be a funny M. Night Shyamalan joint
Mhm.
or if it's just going to be a spectacular failure.
Yeah, we'll see. But definitely gonna see it just to see, like,
Oh
what he's
yeah,
gonna
I'll
do.
I will be there week 1 to see it
Mhm.
because I'm always entertained by his movies no matter how disastrous the writing or the acting is.
'Cause I mean, he seems like someone who's always trying to do something different, like, success or fail. He seems like he's trying.
Oh yeah, major props.
Mhm.
He goes from Last Airbender to superhero movies like
Mhm.
Glass
Yeah.
and yeah,
To horror, to whatever, like,
The
just everything.
Visit. Terrible
The
movie.
Visit.
All right. Well, let's move on.
Yeah.
We have Borderlands by director Eli Roth,
And
a video game adaptation.
yeah, I think it's a very interesting choice, a director for this movie, but, I don't know, I've never played a Borderlands game, so I'm not too attached to this franchise, but from the comments of the trailer, it seems that there's a lot of things that are standing out as very sacrilegious. I think the main thing people are complaining about is the cast, which I mean, I don't know any of these characters, so I wouldn't know. But this cast is kind of insane. Like it's pretty stacked
Yeah.
with
Kate
yeah,
Blanchett,
Cate Blanchett.
Jamie Lee Curtis, and Jack Black.
Uh-huh.
Got Kevin Hart in there
Kevin Hart
too.
and Ariana Greenblatt, I think is her name.
Yes, the
The girl
Barbie
from yeah,
girl.
the girl from Barbie. Which is I mean, that's a fun it's a fun cast, but like the movie just seems whatever.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this property either,
Mhm.
and I just have the idea that this is going to be a very lame adaptation of source material that I assume is beloved. We're in a time period where video game adaptations can succeed and they can be done right
Mhm.
when the right approach is there. And I don't know, this one just looks like it's going for the normal blockbuster
It doesn't seem
feeling.
like it's trying to do anything
No.
special.
Yeah. I recently watched the Fallout show, which I really enjoyed, and I am not at all familiar with that world.
Mhm.
But I thought as like a newbie to Fallout, it did a great job of introducing the world,
Mhm.
the characters, and the rules, I guess, at play in this
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. I don't know if any of my friends are too into Borderlands, but if they are, they'll probably want to see it. I'll probably see it with them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably end up seeing this, but I'm not looking forward to it. This is his follow up to Thanksgiving.
Mm.
Interesting. Yeah.
You
Moving
like that
on.
movie?
Did I like Thanksgiving?
Mhm.
No.
Cool. Moving on.
He made a really cool short a long time ago for Grindhouse, that movie
Mhm.
movie event, and I thought that was really cool.
Was that
But
like a anthology sort of thing? Like, what do you mean?
I don't want to
Right?
dig too deep into it, but it was basically like a fake 70s style like trailer, and it was
Oh.
also Thanksgiving,
Uh-huh.
but now being stretched out into this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It was very lame generic slash. Anyway,
I like Eli Roth and Clown, and I love Clown.
he's
So
in
I'm just
Clown.
he is the clown.
He's the clown.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's really funny.
I just found that out like when I looked him up like recently. But yeah, he is the clown.
Well, he is a clown in real life too. Boom.
Got him.
Got him.
All right.
Moving on.
Mm,
We have our final movie that we're going to talk about to
yep.
cap off our summer preview, Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Alvarez.
Alien Romulus. I mean, I feel this whole segment is just exposing that I haven't seen anything, but I haven't seen a single Alien movie either. I guess based off what I've seen from the trailer, it just seems like another one. Like they're just doing the same thing again. I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, have any
this
of the recent Alien movies really done anything unique to
nope, and
build
they
on
were
the
directed by Ridley
original?
Scott.
It's
Alien
interesting.
Covenant back in 2017 was so bad, and it just feels like Ridley Scott specifically, has forgotten what has even made this franchise.
Mhm.
Like Predator and a bunch of 80s franchises, they're just running this one into the ground.
Yeah.
Alien Romulus, though, there's some promise there. The director, Fede Alvarez, he has directed Don't Breathe,
Mhm.
the 2013 Evil Dead movie, and a couple of other things.
Yeah.
So he's a very competent director, and I think he could do something cool with this one. But my expectations are too high.
Yeah. But they have Kaylee Spaney in this one, which is
Oh yes, Priscilla.
interesting. Yeah. She's good in Civil War too. But I don't know. It doesn't I guess at the best it's gonna be it seems like it's just gonna be like a fun little alien horror movie.
Yeah,
But
and this is another one of those where it's taking place between Alien and Aliens.
okay.
So it's like it's still continuing the timeline, but it's
Yeah.
also jumping back into a certain space in the timeline.
Kinda like Saw
I was
X.
about to say
Yeah.
like Saw X.
But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I'll see this one. How about you?
Yeah, I'll end up seeing this one
Okay.
just because I've seen, I think, every Alien movie at this point.
Mhm.
So what's stopping me now from seeing another one?
True. Very true.
All right, that was our summer 2024 movie preview.
That's it.
Yeah, I felt like most of these we were just like, yeah, looks whatever.
But then like a few of them were like, "Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna see it." So there's variation there.
Yeah, we talked about Kinds of Kindness and Dee Dee
Yeah.
and Maxine, and
Mhm.
then the rest was just bleh.
That's movies.
Yeah, you're not always gonna have hits. You're gonna have a lot of misses because
Mhm.
we're talking about big studio projects.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll catch you in our long form discussion coming soon.
See ya.
And we are back for our long form discussion.
And we'll be talking about the new Charli XCX album, Brat. And just to give some background, Charli XCX, she's an English pop artist. I guess most people would know her, most mainstream audiences would know her for her 2014 hit Boom Clap off of her sophomore album Sucker. But nowadays she's become more known for being influential in the hyperpop subgenre and sort of like I'd say bridging the gap between mainstream pop and the underground. And this is her sixth studio album, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think
Sounds
so.
right. I was looking up a little bit.
Yeah. What's your sort of experience with Charlie's music? What would you say?
Well, I've always really enjoyed her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's remained like a really consistent voice in the world of pop music.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that the space that she's kind of dominated. Pop music has just been so oversaturated
Mm-hmm.
by just corporate heads and middle-aged women who cling to their teenage youth.
Definitely.
And I'm always impressed by what Charlie brings out.
Mm-hmm.
She's always experimenting with different sounds
Oh yeah.
and her vocal ranges, and I like what she's doing in the genre.
Yeah. What are your some of your favorites from this? Let's just list our favorites before we talk track by track.
Okay. Some of my favorites, definitely club classics.
Mm.
I might say something stupid. Talk Talk. Everything is Romantic and Rewind. I did a top 5 because I enjoyed those tracks a lot.
Yeah. I would say my favorites were Club Classics, Sympathy is a Knife, Talk Talk, Von Dutch, Rewind, So I, Mean Girls, and 365.
Nice.
Those were a lot, but I really like this album. Spoilers. But I guess for me, Charlie's music, her album Charlie 2019 release was one of the first albums I sort of listened to during my formative years of music listening, I would say. But yeah, I always really enjoyed her stuff. I think the hyperpop genre is just really interesting to me because it has so much versatility and it's just a lot of fun to listen to. And yeah,
Can you
that's
say that
basically
phrase
it.
again?
What?
Hyper.
Hyperpop?
Hyperpop.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Can you
100x.
yeah. Can you for the listeners kind of describe and define what you mean by that?
Hyperpop. I guess it's a subgenre of pop music that's defined by, I would say, like really eccentric, out there, and almost sort of industrial um, synth-based pop production and auto-tune vocals and all that good stuff. And it's very hip hop influenced too, influenced by more like trap, I would say. But yeah, that's hyperpop. For those who don't know.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
All right.
I really enjoyed this album too.
Mm.
You guys are gonna have to excuse my ignorance, but I don't think I've fully listened to any other album. I've
Hmm.
jumped through a bunch of them, and I've always, like I said, enjoyed her stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
But this one, just, it really hit for me. I
Yeah.
thought it had that spontaneous club girl
Hmm.
energy, and
Yeah.
I thought that rocked. I thought it was so much fun, and I love how she was experimenting with sounds in this one.
Hmm. Like she always
Yeah.
does. So let's get into our track by track sort of analysis, starting with the intro 360. So, what do you think?
Well, I thought it was a great opener.
Hmm.
It just sets the stage really well. Sets the vibe,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, no, this is a really fun track. I like the sort of bouncy synths that sort of remain in the background throughout the track. It
Mhm.
adds nice rhythmic feel to it, and this is a really catchy one too. Like,
Yeah.
this is definitely the most accessible track, I'd say, to
Mhm.
like general audiences. I guess, yeah, it does a really good job at setting the vibe. It sort of opens, I guess, the narrative of the album in a neutral place, a sort of introduction to this sort of party girl persona that she's deconstructing, especially like later down the line in the album lyrically. But yeah, it's a good track.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, this was released as a single before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this, Von Dutch, and I don't remember. But yeah,
Yeah, that makes
this is one
sense.
of
It
them.
makes sense that
It
she
makes,
released this
yeah.
first.
Next we have Club Classics.
Hell yeah.
This one is kind of unhinged.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
but it's a lot of fun. It's very upbeat song about dancing in the club, dancing to your own music, which is kind of awesome. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I've had this one on repeat. I
Mhm.
love just how absolutely chaotic it is.
Yeah.
Her energy is just, I feel like, at an all-time high.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really radiating off of this track, and it's just, it's a great bad bitch anthem, you know?
Yeah. It's really interesting how she kind of plays around with the different sounds in this, because you
Mhm.
have the section with like the really like warpy sort of weird sounding bass that's like coming in like hitting you,
Mhm.
but then the synths come in that are much more like much sweeter and bubbly, but it comes in like a rush because it's so intense. And I feel like lyrically, this is like the height of the album's sort of indulgence
Mhm.
in this party girl sort of persona that she's building. So that's what I think these first two tracks sort of work to do thematically for this album, sort of just set up like where she's at as the album's narrative is starting.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
although it's like a bold choice to open with this track as your second track,
Mhm.
thought it worked really well in just
Yeah.
establishing the tone.
Those second tracks are always good to kind of show people what's up, kind of show everything in a very non-transparent manner.
Mhm.
But yeah, in a very transparent manner. Sorry.
You
Next,
messed up.
dang it. All right. Next song, "Sympathy Is a Knife." What'd you think?
I also really enjoyed this one. I think
Mm,
it feels a lot more reserved compared to
mm-hmm.
most of the tracks on this one.
Yeah.
I definitely feel the most emotions coming off of her vocals and her storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Li-
really enjoyed the constant changes of pace,
Oh yeah.
jumping from club classics and then going into this one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like this one too. I think this is the first song that sort of introduces the kind of vulnerable side of this album,
Mhm.
because she's writing about the feeling of jealousy caused by like another woman, and how, I guess, sympathy makes her feel kind of like patronized. Like it
Yeah.
feels like she's comparing it to a knife.
Mm.
And I find it funny that this song called Sympathy is a Knife starts with synth stabs. Get it? Okay.
Sim stabs.
And it also calls back. I mean, I don't even know if this has anything to do with the overall narrative, but it calls back to this guy named George that was mentioned in the song Club Classics, which is something I noticed. But
Oh, interesting.
I guess this is something this album does a lot. It has a lot of cohesion within its tracks. It sort of
Mhm.
like calls back and plays off of its themes in a very interesting way that adds a very good cohesion to the album. The chorus of the song is definitely a highlight, I guess, of the whole album. I just think the songwriting of it is so good. It's such a catchy, yet like sort of emotional melody,
Mhm.
I would say. And I really like the lyric, "Why I want to shoot myself." I think it's very blunt and almost like comedic in how blunt it is. It kind of reminds me of some like Earl Sweatshirt songs and how he sort of handles like these like depressing sort of feelings in a very blunt way that makes it almost like comedic.
Yeah, I always like her dark sense of humor
Hmm.
and how she communicates these darker themes.
Yeah. All right, moving on to I Might Say Something Stupid. This is, I think, the shortest track on the album. It's just a very simple instrumental, which I guess focuses on complementing the lyrics and what she's doing vocally.
Mhm.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, this was another one of my favorite tracks. I think it helps break up after club classics and
Mhm.
transitioning back into the more vibrant tracks.
Yeah. No, I find the instrumentation of this album, I guess it's highlighted on this track, but I
Mhm.
feel like compared to her other projects, it's not really the main focus here. Like I
Mhm.
think it's more serving to complement her songwriting and her lyrics.
Yeah.
But this track to me sort of feels like a brief moment of hesitation before going back into the sort of club life that's
Yeah.
kind of being depicted here throughout the album.
That's a good way to think about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, like that kind of calm quiet before the
This
chaotic
yeah, the
storm.
storm,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, so moving on to Talk Talk. This is one of the catchiest ones on the album for me.
Oh, yeah. I think it has some of the most
Yeah,
replayability.
the hook is just infectious.
Yeah.
It's really repetitive, but like in the best way.
Mhm.
And the way the synths come in during the chorus is it's just so good. It's really, really catchy. But this song sort of depicts a desperation to talk to someone you have a history with,
Mhm.
at least to me, but like in a party setting. Like to me, it feels like the feeling of like seeing an ex at like a party, like while you're having a good time,
Mhm.
which I think is a really interesting emotion to sort of capture. It utilizes the club vibe in an interesting way to sort of bring this relatability to
Mhm.
the song. Yeah.
Yeah, I really agree with that sentiment of how it makes you feel. I
Mhm.
think, like most of the tracks, the way she delivers it,
Mhm.
it just with her vocals, you get the sense of what she's going for and
Yeah.
what she would be feeling in that, like, hypothetical moment,
Yeah. I
if
mean,
that makes
even with
sense.
all the autotune, she's a very expressive singer
Yeah.
and very diverse too. Like I feel like she has a lot of different sort of modes that she sings in to
Mhm.
sort of give off different vibes.
Mhm. I
Ne-
wish I could communicate it better, but I think this might be my favorite track on the
mm,
album.
that's a good one. This is one of my favorites. But my favorite is the next one, Von
Really?
Dutch.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think of this? Because
No, I really enjoyed this
mm,
one too. It continues the really great momentum of the album.
yeah,
The energy is really great, and I think the lyrics are some of the best here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I just think this song is just really addicting with its production. I
Mhm.
think the synths are super interesting. This one, and it has a sort of a much more EDM inspired feel to it. Of course, there's EDM all over this album, but just the feel of the groove and everything just feels the most EDM inspired. And it's just a lot of fun. I think the "I'm your number one" I should have sung that. That whole hook is really infectious, and when the drums come in the second half, it hits really hard.
Mhm.
But I really like how this song lyrically sorta plays on the themes of the last track, because the last track, it's, like, depicting this love from a desperate viewpoint,
Yeah.
but then this song is depicting love from a very confident viewpoint, like, "I'm your number one," like, "You're jealous of me," that kinda stuff.
Mhm.
I think that's a really interesting, sorta added cohesion to the narrative of this album.
Yeah, I like how it progresses the storytelling and, like,
Mhm.
what she's communicating.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next song, "Everything Is Romantic." This one starts with, like, an orchestral intro, which I thought was a really interesting change of pace for the album, especially because it's so synth driven. And it felt almost like a Lana Del Rey song, the way the
Mhm.
synths were, the orchestral elements were kinda blended in. But this song is really weird because it goes through, like, many different phases, I would say.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
kinda what I loved about this one too.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I felt like some weird K-pop almost energy.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I think it's definitely the instruments and the synths it's playing
Yeah.
with, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I felt that kind of vibe, and I was really digging it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very interesting comparison, but I can definitely see it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's all pop music, so there's definitely gonna be some crossover,
Yeah,
but
but this track
this one in
specifically felt the
particular.
most, like, kind of reminiscent, almost like, I just felt it the most here.
Yeah. I think what this song does lyrically is sort of wrap up the themes established from the last 2 tracks
Yeah.
about love. It's sort of depicting love as this, like, never-ending cycle and expresses this feeling of wanting to, like, break out of it,
Mhm.
basically. And that's another thing with this album. A lot of the songs bring up themes of, like, cycles and, like, just, I guess, loops, I would
Mhm.
say, like, depicting aspects of life as a cycle. Like, even the whole album starts with 360 and ends with 365, which is like a reprise of the intro track, which I think is sort of just like reinforcing that as like one of the core themes of the album lyrically. Ready to move on?
Yes, I am.
All right, next song, Rewind. What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, this was another one on my list of favorite tracks. I think she kind of hits, like, a peak here.
Really?
It sounds like she's having the most fun on this one.
Oh yeah.
The storytelling is great again,
Yeah.
and I love how it's paced. It's really catchy,
Mm.
and excuse my lack of vocabulary, but
Mm.
I had a really good time with this one.
No, yeah, I like how she uses these like tape stop effects
Mhm.
as a percussion instrument because
Mhm.
it plays into the rhythm. But yeah, this is just a track that's sort of reflective on her life before the fame. I guess wanting to go back to a time that was simpler.
Yeah.
I really like this album's vulnerability, I gotta say, because I guess after the first 2 tracks, like it kind of comes out of left field.
Mhm.
But then as the album progresses, I feel like it's sort of building this narrative to sort of contrast like the party girl sort of lifestyle that I guess this type of music sort of incites.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I really like that kinda contrast where it's presenting, like, this shiny, I don't care, I don't give a fuck persona,
Mhm.
and contrasting that with,
Like real feelings
yeah,
of
real
like
feelings and just getting really personal with
yeah.
how you feel about relationships and your fame and just where you're at socially.
Yeah. Cuz a lot of this type of music tends to depict life in a very not unrealistic way, but a very idealized way.
Mhm.
So to sort of subvert that and to confront like real feelings and insecurities and that kind of stuff is a very interesting direction to take it. And it's crazy how this album is still very danceable, I would
Mhm.
say. It's a very catchy listen. I don't know. I guess I really like that balance of still being able to keep these themes like taken seriously whilst
Yeah.
making songs that are enjoyable to listen to as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, moving on to the next song, So I. So this song is actually a tribute to the artist Sophie. She passed away in 2021, but she was also an artist in this sort of hyperpop sphere as very influential to the genre. So I thought this is a real probably the emotional peak of the album. It's a very sweet sort of tribute, but it's also takes this angle of being reflective of the guilt she kind of has for not being or not feeling like she was a good enough friend when
Mhm.
she was still around. Yeah, what'd you think of this one?
Oh, very interesting. I was not aware of this kind of background.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think coming off of Rewind,
Mhm.
it's placed very well where it kind
Yeah.
of puts you into this mood and then
Yeah.
following up with So I thought that was really, really cool.
Mhm.
And yeah, when with her lyricism, it hits and
Mhm.
you feel all the emotions with this one.
Yeah, this song, there's a sort of section at the end of it where she's kind of just vocalizing, not really saying anything clearly, but just vocalizing with the vocoder, which kind of reminded me of Runaway by Kanye, which is kind of a weird comparison, but that's just what it reminded me of.
Goat yay.
But don't get us started on Kanye. But yeah, I really like the ending of this one. I think production wise, the ending of this song is like one of the best moments.
Mhm.
It's just so grand and so big, and you can really feel like the emotions just based off that. Next song, Girl So Confusing. What did you think of this one, Justin?
So I'll be completely honest, this track and the two following is I
Mhm.
kind of feel like the stretch of the album where it's just kind of not losing itself,
Mhm.
but the momentum is just kind of staying in one place. It's not really doing too much. But yeah, these are fun tracks.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. These songs, I think lyrically they're doing a very good job at progressing the narrative, but I think instrumentally and
Mhm.
like just musically in general, it's kind of stagnant at this part.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely good songs, but especially in comparison to some of the moments like earlier on the album, I feel like it's definitely a lower point, which I guess may be intentional. Maybe she wanted to sort of calm the album down at this point late in the track list, but it doesn't 100% work for me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun to be had with these ones. I feel like I'm a broken record to myself and just everyone. Like I
Mhm.
enjoy fun kind of poppy things,
Mhm.
but I would prefer to have something to sit on a little more
Yeah.
and something that I could digest better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because these are like I'd throw these on in the background, they'd be fun.
Mhm.
But I'm not really thinking too much beyond what's on the surface
Yeah.
compared to a lot of the other tracks.
Yeah.
Not to
S
say that they're bad.
yeah. So for Girls So Confusing, this song this song lyrically, I guess, depicts this relationship she has with another female artist
Mm,
and feeling like it's not 100% real. There's this feeling, like, deep inside that they don't want each other to succeed, even though they talk about, like, making music together and they have, like, dinners together. Like,
mhm,
there's this sort of fakeness within this relationship. And I guess it's an interesting story to tell, but this song definitely has one of the weaker hooks on
mhm,
the album for me. And the next song, Apple, is this one's this one's okay, I feel like. I really like what it's doing lyrically, sort of exploring what her relationship was like with her parents,
mhm,
saying like, "I wanna grow the apple and keep the seeds." She wants to have a child, but doesn't wanna pass on her sort of bad traits onto her children like her parents did for her.
mhm,
And she sings about, like, the airport and driving at night as a sort of escape from this feeling. And then the final song in this sorta section of the album, B2B, talks about not wanting to feel fearless when it comes to love, which I think reinforces the themes of that sort of 3-track narrative with Talk Talk, Von Dutch, and Everything Is Romantic. It sort of touches back on those themes of not wanting to feel jaded
mhm.
because from the feeling that love is just the cycle that you're going through. But yeah, I guess overall these 3 tracks, while good lyrically, aren't the highlights of the album musically. But yeah, moving on to Mean Girls. What did you think of this one?
It's one of my another favorite of mine. I
Another
thought
favorite?
this one brought it back.
Yeah.
I think
Definitely has the attitude.
oh yeah, like the vocals and some of the delivery, it's some of the most engaging on the entire album.
Mhm.
I love the straight talk delivery that she gives in a lot of it. It
Yeah.
almost reflects Mean Girls, like, you have this kind of idea in your head of
Mhm.
what the energy of the track is gonna be,
Yeah.
and I think that really benefited.
No, yeah, I like the lyrics in this one. It's very tongue in cheek,
Mhm.
sort of satirizing the modern sort of mean girl,
Yeah.
saying like she worships Lana Del Rey and her AirPods, or saying like you say she's anorexic and you heard she likes it when people say it. Like just those like really like it has an almost sarcastic tone to
Oh,
it
yeah.
because I don't think it's sort of worshiping this kind of person.
Yeah.
It's definitely poking fun at it, but at the same time also creating an anthem for this type of person, which I think is really ironic
Mhm.
because it's playing against itself in a really interesting way.
Yeah, the people who Charlie's commenting on
Mhm.
are either not gonna be aware that they're being made fun of, or they're gonna have, like, a moment of realization.
Yeah.
Where they're like, "Wait,
Yeah.
I'm this insufferable?"
Mhm. Yeah,
Like, straight up.
basically. Like, the song is kind of annoying, but in, like, a good way. Like, I think it's annoying in a way that services its themes and, like, what it's trying to represent, but not annoying in a distracting way, I would say. I would say
It's
more
like a
annoying
tongue-in-cheek
yeah, in a
kind of
more
way.
tongue-in-cheek way.
Yeah.
But musically, I really like how it switches up in the second half with this sorta, like, piano breakdown.
Mhm.
I thought that was a really interesting change of pace, and it goes hella hard. But
This shit
yeah,
do go hard.
do go hard. Alright, next song, I think about it all the time. What'd you think?
I think about I think about all the time. That's
Okay.
great. It
Yeah.
felt like almost a spiritual successor to, I might say, Something Stupid.
Mhm,
Like,
yeah.
it's kinda continuing that break from the chaos,
Yeah,
and it's kinda calming down, slowing down, and putting you
yeah,
in this headspace, which I thought was really cool.
yeah. It's one of the more, I guess, calmer tracks, but I also think it's one of the more vulnerable ones as well, because lyrically, she's talking about this desire to become a mother and to be more than what she is like right now, sort
Mhm.
of seeing her musical career as not really meaning all that much in the grand scheme of things, and her wanting to fill that void sort of with a child. And she also tells the story of how these friends she's had have changed it for the better
Yeah.
after having children themselves. And I think this ties in really well with the themes of Apple. And like I said earlier, it's something that this album does that makes it so good is that it sort of plays off the themes of each track to sort of add cohesion to
Mhm.
the overall narrative of the album. But yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different pieces that are at play within this album,
Hmm.
and you'll have one track playing at a certain part, and
Hmm.
then a few tracks later, it'll come back to that, and it feels really satisfying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's kind of solving these sort of like concluding these kind of like sub sections of the album.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this album really fun to come back to because you can listen, the songs are so good, I think, musically,
Mm.
like on their own, that you can listen to it that way. But listening to it front to back as an album experience is also very rewarding because of how good she is at sort of creating cohesion without having to tell a super linear story.
Mhm.
And yeah, so moving on to the final track, 365. So this one's actually a sort of reprise of the intro track, which I think is a very interesting decision musically to sort
Yeah.
of bring back. But I think it's this album is all the better for it because it sort of reinforces earlier themes of life as a sort of cycle
Mhm.
and this whole, I guess, sort of breakdown of emotions as something that's going to be repeated throughout like one's whole life. But what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I thought it was a great final track.
Mm-hmm.
It wraps up the entire album really nicely,
Mm-hmm.
and while you mentioned it's a reprisal, it still feels very distinct
Oh yeah,
from the rest.
because it goes through many like different phases.
Yeah, which is what I love, the experimenting with these different tones and styles. There's like this nuclear, absurd disco kind of feeling I get from it, which is
Mm,
the best way I
yeah,
can kind of communicate it.
that's a good way to
Yeah.
describe it.
Just like these distortions and like synths that she's
Mhm.
playing with.
Yeah, no, the ending of the song is really crazy. Like with when the bass comes in,
Mhm.
like it's just so like thick and dirty, but like in the best way possible. It's grooving. And I guess it gives the album sort of this grand finish in the most unorthodox Charlie XCX sort of way. And yeah, I just think it's a great closer to the album and wraps everything up really nicely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on Brat by Charli XCX. What did you think?
Before we get to that, I actually listened to the deluxe album.
Oh, you're right.
So I'm just gonna share some quick little notes on the 3 tracks that she added.
I don't believe in deluxe albums, so I didn't listen to it.
You don't believe in deluxe albums?
Well, I just don't like it when artistic expression is compromised so that the label can re-release the same album a second time to make more money with extra songs that weren't even intended to be on the album.
Hot take though, because this one it's literally called Brat, and it's the same, but there's just 3 more songs, so it's not.
That's literally what I was just about to say. I feel like with that title, I guess
She saved herself.
she saved herself from what I hate about deluxe albums, but tell me about these new tracks.
So starting with Hello Goodbye, honestly, it's definitely my least favorite, the
Okay.
weakest track in this project. It's just a little too repetitive with itself.
Of like everything, you would say?
Yeah,
Okay.
with its lyrics and just the way she communicates it, the story. Kind of the same issues I had with like Apple
Okay.
and back is it back to back?
Yeah.
Yeah. But guess the next track
Mm-hmm.
I really liked. I liked its rave-esque quality.
Yeah.
And this was a case where the repetition with the lyrics felt warranted.
I think with Charli, her repetition most of the time works out for her. And I think that's because she has such good production
Yeah.
behind it. And she just has a really good ear for really sticky melodies
Mhm.
that can be like repeated over and over like that.
Yeah. And then the last track that she added, Spring Breakers, similar to Mean Girls, it kind of with the track title, it kind of gives you an
Mhm.
idea of what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
And I thought the energy, the vibe was really great here.
Mhm.
The lyrics, while not anything too deep,
Yeah.
it kind of plays into what the track is going for.
Yeah.
It's this basic, bad bitch pop
Mhm.
kind of writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that was cool.
Does this song tie into the movie Spring Breakers at all? Would you say?
I definitely thought of the movie when I read the track name, but
There's no references in the lyrics. Do you?
not that I can remember. Correct or someone can call me out if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't remember any specific references to Harmony Korine's Spring Breakers.
Harmony Cream. Okay, and that's it then. So, final thoughts on the album.
It was great. I'd recommend it.
Mhm.
I think although I haven't finished many Charli XCX
Mhm.
projects, I think this is a standout in her
Yeah.
catalog, and I think she's doing great things. I'm always going to look forward to seeing what she does next.
Oh yeah.
I give this album a high 8 out of 10.
Good score. I think final thoughts. I think this is definitely her most vulnerable album when it comes to her lyrics. I think she does a really good job at balancing sort of heavy topics whilst also making really catchy and fun songs like she always does.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely a standout because of its sort of unique nature with its lyricism and everything. I think overall, this is definitely one of my favorite Charli XCX albums. I don't think it's number one. I still think Charlie from 2019 is my favorite, just because I've had much more time to sort of digest that one. Charlie. But yeah, overall, I think this is the best album of the year so far. This is definitely way ahead of everything else I've listened to. But
Hell yeah.
I have a lot to catch up on, but I'm just saying that based off what I've heard so far. And yeah, I give this album a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Goated.
Would you say that this album is a certified club classic?
Hell yeah.
I hate myself. And that was our long form discussion. I thought it would be nice to break it up and talk about a music album this time for our discussion. I was just kind of thinking, I was like, is there any music to talk about, Joshua? And he was like, yeah, Brat by Charli XCX.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's do it.
That's how it went.
That is exactly how it went.
Yep.
Anyway, for next episode, I was thinking we start our long form discussion by recommending a film right now.
Mhm.
And I talked to Joshua a little bit about this before, and I'm going to be recommending a 2018 film called Under the Silver Lake, directed
Yeah.
by David Robert Mitchell and A24 Joint.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's what we'll be discussing next time,
Next week.
next week, hopefully. And I think after that, we'll probably have seen Kinds of Kindness by then. So
Yeah,
expect a episode centered on that
for
for
sure.
sure. And the following episode after that one, Joshua will be giving us a recommendation. So yeah,
Yes, I will.
yes, he will. So yeah, exciting things to come.
Mhm.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.